Hello everybody, it's Chris Thomas again. This video is going to be about pole shift survival. That is to do with the hour of the pole shift. So first I'm going to cover the basic conditions of the pole shift, the various conditions with different videos, short excerpts, and I'll offer commentary through the video clips. And then we're going to cover the dangers of choosing ground that is too muddy, too much soil, too close to lakes in a certain way, and too close to rivers, and too close to mountains, all that kind of thing. Then we'll move into some ideas that I have about the actual method of survival, and the good ones and what I think are very bad, so as examples. And so what I'm hoping to do is help people get past a lot of the junk that you find on the internet, and to provide some simple ideas that I think will work. And of course I'm drawing on Zeta Talk, as I always do, and of course I do my own compiling of information. So let's head into that next. Okay, let's take a look at the actual conditions of the pole shift. That'll be global, and now not every area will have the same, but there'll be just variations of everything you see here in the next couple minutes. So we've got massive wind, huge wind. This video is from the 40s. It's an old video, but I just wanted to show, just to display this, because it's really there aren't any bridges that are going to stand after the pole shift. This is just a 42-mile-an-hour gale causing this. Now, obviously, the bridge wasn't very well designed, but this is going to happen to every big bridge. And small bridges will come down due to earthquakes, not necessarily wind. Then we have massive volcano. Worldwide, anywhere where there's a volcano that's 10,000 years old or younger, basically, well, anyways, they're all over the world, but certainly around the Pacific will be very, very intense with volcanoes. So it's recommended you be at least 100 miles away from a volcano. The ash from the volcano will fill the stratosphere with fine ash and dim the sun for years. This is why I don't recommend solar power for the after time. By all means, buy it and store it, but I suggest wind turbine or water turbine. Water turbine would be excellent for power. And also, we're going to have a lot of low cloud and a lot of rain, so that's why I discourage solar power, to expect it anyway. Just expect the sun shining, because it's not going to be that much. Now, it's not the same everywhere around the world, but basically it will be a problem for most people to deal with around the world. Lighting shows, because of the massive electrical magnetic influence of Planet X, on the atmosphere of Earth. So you can expect a lot of aurora borealis going on. Earth-grown. This is earth-grown. Now, you can see why the writings of old refer to earth-grown as trumpets. Next we have, we're going to go to storm. Massive storm, of course. Massive clouds, massive rain, lightning shows like we've never seen before. And now here we have a little excerpt from probably the Christian Bible, I believe. And there fell upon man a great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. Talent is about 130 pounds. This is from the tail of Planet X, so it'll be raining rock. And of course, we have earthquake. Richter 9 worldwide. Richter 9. Tsunami. Now this is Japan earthquake and tsunami from 2011. The height of this tsunami is nowhere near that it's going to be with the polar shift. Nowhere near. So clearly you don't want to be near the sea. And here is an example of how unreliable. See, they could have jumped across right here. This family could have jumped right across, but it's only a matter of seconds and this became unpassable. So this could be a ravine, not necessarily a river. It could just be a ravine, and this could be happening to people, getting caught. So don't be in a ravine for the pole shift. And landslide. So these are some of the conditions we expect to see or be happening, and this is why you want to choose your safe location where you actually have your camp very carefully. So the next segment we'll move into looking for stable ground and the type of ground that you want to avoid for your safe location. this is the unstable and stable ground part of the video. So bear with me, I'm going to have to move slowly through the pictures because apparently there's lag in my method of recording desktop, so I apologize for that. If you have ground that looks anything like this, don't go here. You see the depth of that soil. Even though the trees have the roots in it here, it moves. It's very, very dangerous. Not a good. It looks wonderful for growing, but grow later. Stay away from this kind of ground for your survival location. So you can see if you have cracks in the ground, and there's likely to be lots of ground activity in the next few years in various areas around the world, lots of different areas. So if you see anything like this at all nearby, you know you've got deep soil on those hills. They're all soil, and it just moves. It's just going to move in the pole shift. So stay away from any ground or any hills that look like that. And this is the result. You get landslides, and it just wipes everything out. So you can see how unreliable this ground is around here. Now, obviously, you have to choose your location. Here you see you have rock. It didn't move. But unfortunately, you had unstable soil nearby. So you have to choose your area very carefully. If you set your survival camp in here, in the lee of this mountain, right in there or something, you would have been fine. But it's very tricky, so this is why I'm doing this. So you have to choose your area very carefully. And so I'm going to move on. I think there's one or two more locations here, I think, that we're so we're going to move to better ground. Here is an idea that I have, is you see these little ravines. Now these hills don't look high enough to be a problem to cause landslides. So setting up your actual location for the hour of the pole shift in a ravine down here like that, of course you're going to sandbag and protect yourself, but obviously you also have to be careful, make sure you got drainage for the massive amount of rain that will be going down that ravine, but it still keeps you out of the lee, keeps you in the lee of the wind if you're below it like that. So you have to be very careful about water, but this is something that I would consider myself. Another great location is, I think, is something where you're near a rock bluff like that. Now obviously this rock here at some point came down. You have to be careful against that. So certainly it's a great location to be, if you plan it carefully, to be away from the actual rock face, but you know that rock's not coming down en masse. That's what I'm saying. So that's an idea, is to make sure you're near rock but not too close. And and here's another example. If you have any ground that looks like this, you can see the depth of that soil. So it's going to move. It's going to move. Now, here we have trees holding it together, so you're going to have to make a call. If you got good old standard trees, then you may be okay. But if you're on a hill somewhere and you see cracks like that, don't be on the hill for the pole shift. So those are some ideas. Now, let's take a look at, now we're going to look at how actually you plan to actually survive the hour of the pole shift. That's the next segment. Okay, I wanted to mention this before I get too far into the bunker section, and that is, if you're thinking of riding out the pole shift in your basement, don't do it, because this is just a tornado. So it's just not a safe option. Now, here's another example here. Now this actually gives me a segue into why I think that brick construction is just not reliable for a bunker. Right here you can see this was probably a tornado, and these bricks were just tossed around. So that's not reliable at all for a bunker situation. So let's take a look at some. Now here's a good old-fashioned system that I like, and it's a trench dug. Now these, I'm not sure, but I think these are sandbags, but I'm not certain. But they're very old, they've been there for a long time. They could be some other method, but sandbags would work just fine. You notice that the sides are tapered out, so there's less of a chance of it caving in, and so I think this would be a good place to start. Notice that there is a drainage, rather a walkway at the bottom, and this is what you'd need. Something much more than that actually, but you would need something like this because the ditch will fill with water, and of course you want it to be able to flow in and out. You don't want it to be a depression in the ground to fill up. You want flow in and out. By the way, you don't know which direction the water is going to come unless you're an expert. So you want it in and out. You don't want it one way. All right. So now here again, I don't think this is a good idea for a bunker. I like it that it's only partially submerged, but I don't think this is safe. I think that will come down in the shake apart and fall inward, and and you get damaged, you get hurt by the brick. So I don't think that's a good idea. So let's talk about not good ideas. Then here, I originally thought this was a good idea until I saw this as a stairway going down. So I don't think this is a very good idea because you're underground. However, it is a little steel building, so that's pretty good. That's not so bad. But where is the drainage? Where is the water? If water gets in, and it's very likely to, where is it going to drain to? So that's my problem with this design. I like the steel. I like the roof, that it's soil, and it'd be a great for use for a cool storage in the aftertime, but I don't think it's entirely stable for good for a survival bunker. Here's another style. This is a storm disaster bunker. You can buy these. First thing I noticed about this is that these openings here for air are going to be sheared off in the winds, in debris hitting them, leaving these ports for water to get in, and that will fill with water and then you'll drown. So I don't think this is a good idea. If these ports weren't here, if they're somehow on the side or somehow better designed so that water couldn't get in and they couldn't be knocked off, I think that would be a better design, even if it's just a port like that with a rain cover on it. So you can see these people don't design these things for massive rain. That's my whole point here. Now let's take a look at well, this is my worst. This is the worst. A hole in the ground. That's fill with water. You'll be drowning. You'd be drowning in there. That's a death trap. Don't dig a hole in the ground and get into it with a trapdoor. There isn't even any water seal here. Notice this here. You know, it's like the old nuclear strike consciousness, no thought of sealing it for water. So it's just a dumb idea. Okay, so here is another good idea. Like it's kind of ground level here. You have the soil over. I like that because that's a stable soil over it. Like that would be stable. Here you have they look like earth bags, but sandbags are earth bags. I think this is very good. There's only one problem I have with this. Well, two problems. One is the walls are vertical. So unless they're very, very heavily reinforced, I could possibly see them falling inwards, and it can collapsing with the vibration of the earthquakes. So that's my problem with this. The other is that is only one entrance into it. So if something was to a tree was to fall, or if a car was to roll along and end up against this door, you'd die in there. Well, you'd have to dig your way out, but it would be a very unpleasant situation. So, so you can see why I like these. You have an exit this way, and you have an exit this way. You need two. You want two exits. You don't want one exit. So this is why I think this is one of the best. It's a large steel culvert. Looks like they've got a vertical culvert here. I don't think that's a good idea because rain will drop in there. But this idea of the culvert I think is very good. It's very stable. Obviously you want to bury it slightly, so you're going to have a walkway here to lay on to keep you above the water. So they should be on a board up like that, about that high up, so water could flow through. And you're going to have two entrances. So I think that's because it'll be very, very stable, easy to get out, and very strong. Here's another idea. This was from Australia, and this person built this for a possible brush fire safe location. But it would be, looks like it'd be pretty good for a way of surviving the pole shift. Get in there, not too much stuff on top of it, bit of soil, some rocks around. I don't think this is going to affect the. This just provides stability for the ground around. Even if they fall down, you're still going to be protected by the culverts. I think this is a very good idea. You'd want this to carry all the way through, so there's an exit on that side as well. So I think this is a very good idea. Now, worse than this for a small family. For a rich family, if you're rich, you might consider buying one of these. Please don't. This is a massive tomb. Missile silos converted to luxury home is just crazy. It's so what's the word? Divorced from reality. What, you live the rest of your life in here? It's crazy. They've got hospitals in these things. It's just it might be nice for if it indeed you did survive the pole shift in it, but what, are you going to come out and have a campfire for the rest of your life from this? I don't think that's a very good idea. I think it's a waste of money, and I think it's going to be a tomb for the aftertime. You die in there. If it was anything goes wrong with the system, any of the systems in this, the airflow system, the water systems, the power systems, anything like that was to break down, you're not going to get resupplied. It's a crazy idea, and it's also a waste of money. So Getting back to a little bit of the other subject about ground stability, I wanted to mention not to position yourself below a man-made lake. So you got to look for man-made lakes or any mining lakes or anything like slag dumps, because they're going to give way. Now, a man-made lake is different. Personally, I would not, definitely not, position myself in within water flow distance of a lake, downhill from a lake. I would go uphill from the lake myself. Now, there's also talk about cave survival. Caves, are in many cases are tens of thousands and millions of years old. So they're very stable. But the ground around the outside of the cave that's on top of the that's built up since the last pole shift, around the outside of the cave could collapse, or around the cave entrance, or trees or debris could accumulate here, preventing your escape. So I don't think I would be very reluctant to position myself inside of a cave. As beautiful and lovely and idyllic as it sounds, I really think the very simple approach, something like this with drainage, something like that with some type of protection on the sides. Now, here's an example. A good example of a poor location for a safe location is a cave like that, because that's what's happening. What's the water going to do? It's going to flow down here and fill up that cave. You're going to drown. Now, a better location would be a cave if you really wanted to be in a cave. Something like this. You may have rockfall coming down from the hill, covering the entrance possibly, but this is a good example of how the ground is sloped away from the cave location. So where the water, if any water comes through the cave, it can get out, and it can't come in this way. Still, I don't think it's a good idea, because I think you could have rockfall covering the entrance to this cave. But if you found the right cave that you felt very secure about, I think it could be doable, as long as you have at least two ways out. And frankly, I would lay a culvert in the opening of the cave, so that any rockfall comes down the hill, you'll have a culvert you can fall against, and you'll have a way out. So that here's some other ideas. This is just going to roll away in the wind. These weren't meant for survival. They could be for the after time. It could be a clever little thing, but again, your solar panels I don't think will be that effective, but a wind turbine certainly be a lot better. So this is just plain silly. Had to show that. Here's a fairly viable option. I don't like it. The door opens out. I would prefer that the door opened inwards. That way, if something was to fall against the sphere, you could still open the door inward and either push the sphere away, or you at least have a fighting chance to get out. They are on a little stanchion here, so obviously you want to bury these at least, and maybe anchor them down with a chain. I would weld in a big eye here and have a chain with huge stakes. Could be very doable. But if you don't anchor it down well enough, you could find yourself out at sea in the after time. These are supposedly tsunami pods, but with some forethought and some proper anchoring and a lot of thought going into it, these could be a workable idea. So these are some of the ideas of bunkers. Really, it's pretty much pretty much the full gamut, more or less. Open trench, enclosed, some type of enclosure, a basement type arrangement, or rather a bunker arrangement, or an open trench. I like this the best. This one the best. I like that. Simple tech, not complicated. And as a second choice would be this style of without a top port. So there's just some ideas I wanted to offer you, and I wanted to finish off, but this just came out today. This is Fort Worth. So that's the 8th of March. Another video, same storm. Just a few days ago. Good example, the power of the wind. Okay, I'd like to conclude my video here on surviving the pole shift with a comment about something that I've not referred to in my videos before. I've written about it, and it's something that most people are aware of. I should say that some people are aware of, and even more few actually experience and use. And that is what I call waking dreams. Now, it's not my expression, it comes out of the Eckankar work, but I use waking dreams every day of my life, and I use them because they give us tremendous cues as to good choices to make. And I think this is a very, very good thing to learn to do. I will put up my piece on waking dreams that I wrote the other day, so you can get more detail on it. But essentially, you are using signs and omens, what are known as signs and omens, and what I call waking dreams, and what has come out of Eckankar. But waking dreams point the way. So when you're choosing a safe location, the waking dreams are going to be flying, are just going to be flying around you. So a brief example would be if you are standing there looking at some land, and you're considering a location, and suddenly behind you hear a crash or some type of a loud noise. That's an alert warning you. Now if you're looking at another piece of land that looked good, and it happened you have to have your a radio going, and at the time the truck radio, what have you, and the words good come out. They'll just stick out in your mind within a conversation, or something like that. That's an example of an affirmation that you should choose that piece of land. Now, for people who are not familiar with visions and omens and watching for signs like this, go ahead and use your left brain and get out your pen and pencil and do your calculations. But for those people who are open to to waking dreams like this, it's a real fabulous source of affirmations for something that is good for you. So read my piece on the waking dreams, and so that's it for now. There'll be lots more videos coming, perhaps more and even more on this subject, because every time I go through these things, there's always more to talk about. I think I did about 8 takes on this particular video. So, Chris Thomas signing off, and thanks for watching.